of CA Day. This event is exclusively conceptualized and presented by In Major City to the people of Navi Mumbai and is ably supported by Secure Dream Team, Nayana Financial Services, and Amplifier Advisory Services. The theme of the event is acknowledgement of CAs who have completed 25 plus years of professional practice, followed by a short session by Amplifier Advisory Services LLP, Nayana Financial Services, and Secure Dream Team. In Major City is primarily human resource solutions and integrated property management solutions. We also have our vertical which is into intellectual property events. In the year 2023 we have completed our 10th consecutive year of Arogyam Dhanasampada, an exclusive event for the medical fraternity on the account of National Doctors Day. Similarly, since the last 9 years, we have been conducting an educational event, Vidyaiva Sarvadhanam, on the account of National Teachers' Day and Nrityakala Tilakam for the Indian traditional classical dance and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam for various associations, organizations, societies, trusts, foundations, and NGOs. Today's event is supported by Nayana Financial Services. We are also supported by Amplifier Advisory Services LLP and Secure Green Team. Nalini Nagesh has 37 years experience in the insurance industry, life insurance industry. 21 years she was with LIC of India as Class 1 officer. From day one, she had a dream of having her own business. So she quit her job after 21 years and started own consultancy since 2007. She has 1,000 plus happy clients, own office at New Panvel, and a strong team of well-trained people. We thank all the professionals present here for taking their time from their busy schedule to be with us this evening. Request you all to stay till the end and enjoy this event. We have divided this event into two halves. The first one being the honoring of CAs for the completion of 25 plus years of professional services, and the second one will be an insight by Shri Dheeraj Malhotra of Amplifier Advisory Services LLP. He has come down all the way from Rajasthan for this event to educate on the topics as shared in the invitation cards. Post the conclusion, we humbly request you to stay back for dinner. Now we start our event with lighting of traditional lamp. May I request Mr. Sunil Kumar Prabhakaran, Program Director of In Major City, Mr. Dheeraj Malhotra from Amplifier Advisory Services LLP, CA Dr. Meenakshi Raj, Mrs. Nayana Nalini Nagesh from Nayana Financial Services, and CA EA Patil to come forward to light the lamp. Please be seated. Now we move on to the important annual award function May I call upon Mr. Sunil Kumar Prabhakaran, Program Director of In Major City, to kindly present the annual award Rupika for the year 2023. He is qualified as BSc FCA DISA with a long teaching experience of 23 years from 1989 to 2011 in various educational management institutions in and around Navi Mumbai. He says he enjoyed teaching because he could combine the knowledge and experience to make teaching an interesting experience. He had been practicing for more than 34 years, initially as a proprietor and from 2011 as MVM and Co. Company, a partnership with CA Narendra Mangal, a senior and highly experienced CA in Navi Mumbai. The firm and its partners are having long professional standings in the field of taxation, audits, company law matters, project financing, and other professional matters. He is a past chairperson of Navi Mumbai branch of ICAI, also a past president of Rotary Club in CBD. He had addressed public meetings on union budgets, GST, including an international RRC in Bangkok, on effective time management. He has written many articles in newsletter on professional subjects. He also had an opportunity to physically witness the presentation of union budget by Honorable Finance Minister in the Parliament and to meet Honorable Speaker Madam. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome CA MV Mahashabde.
Thank you so much for coming, sir. We would request if you please take it forward. Yeah. We would like to know how did you start? I think earlier, as Minakshi Madam has said, the nominations for this year has been for those who have served longer duration, and we would like to know the story. All I know is Patil sir because I am from ICL college and I know Madam. So for the other professionals who have put in really, I understand that now there has been some serious struggle in the past. So we would like to listen, and and the juniors who are sitting there, I'm sure that now we should get inspired by the stories. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rupika 2023 and the organizers, the Mr. all the members here. With all humility, I accept this honor. And in fact, I don't think I have done something very special or different because I have got here so many stall experts and senior chartered accountants, and they are all guiding star for me too. And so this is a big honor. I respectfully receive it and thank all of you. In fact, I would say my story is very simple. I have not done very big thing. It all started. I did my graduation in science, and everybody was saying, if you are a science student, CA is not your field. And by accident, I became a CA, to tell you very honestly. Somebody said, no, as a science student, you can never do CA. I say, I will accept that challenge. And that is how it's all started. I will not tell too much stories about me, but I enjoyed all this journey all along. And Patil sir and all my colleagues here, they have been my guide for Mangal. Mr. Narendra Mangal has been my partner, as I mentioned. And I enjoyed this profession all along, whether it was academic in the beginning, practice, and it was a beautiful profession. Now, I would request other members also to speak about their experiences because they are much more taller in experience and in the knowledge than me. So I once again thank all of you for honoring me, and that's
So switching from science to commerce is something which is a very, very challenging. I myself am a science graduate. I did my chemistry. So the switch would be, I'm sure that it would not be accepted in the family as well. So how did you take it?
my God. See, I did to tell you very honestly, I will share my factual thing. I belong to that first batch of 10 plus 2 plus 3, 1975 pass out SSC. There was a clash of old course, new course, and admissions were a big problem. And I had not so very spectacular marks to gain very strong achievement. So by default, I completed my graduation in BSc. But I was not complacent or happy with being just a graduate. My BSc was in mathematics and statistics. So then seniors told me, if this is a subject, probably these are very close to chartered accountant and you can do something different. And in olden days, we had, unlike the today's articles and the members I see, they are so curious and they know everything what they want to do, how they want to do. They know much better. When I interview the people, sometimes I feel, am I interviewing them or are they interviewing me? Frankly, because their knowledge, content, and relevance is so sharp that I have to be very guarded there. But in my time, things were different. Little options, and but one thing was certain: that resolve was very strong. Once I decided I want to do this, then nothing can stop me. That was very 100% sure, and probably that has helped me in completing my. There was no objection from the family. In fact, they were so happy. There was no professional background. My father was a central government employee, so professional background was zero. So, but he always loved me doing something very adventurous or something different than the usually traded path. So there was no objection. In fact, they helped. Everybody helped me. That is how I am here at this juncture. Thank you so much.
Pleasure to have you, sir. Yes. So sir is very determined. He knew that he could do it. Believe you me, if we were to give a chance, science to commerce, which would have been humongous. Thank you so much, sir. Please be seated. We'll take a group photograph.
He passed CA final in 1989 and has been practicing as chartered accountant in the name of JD Tandale and Company since 1989. He is the president of Tax Consultants Association of Raigad, working president of Akhil Agri Samaj Parishad, vice president of OBC Jan Morcha Maharashtra, vice president of Panvel Uran Agri Samaj Mandal, past president of Rotary Club of Panvel Central, and president of Hutatma Hiraji Gomaji Patil Granthalaya and Vachnalaya, Panvel. He is also working editor of monthly magazine Agri Darpan. He also has some special achievements to his credit. He was invited by Sahyadri channel of Doordarshan for the special program on state budget 7 times. These programs were arranged in the premises of Vidhi Mandal by Sahyadri channel on the day of state budgets, where the CM, Deputy CM, Finance Minister, both opposition leaders used to participate along with his team as financial expert. He had participated in panel discussions in different TV channels such as TV9 Marathi, ABP Mazha, Z Marathi on the subject OBC reservation. A big round of applause for his achievement. May I invite CA Janardhan Damodar Tandale to come up and accept the annual award Rupika 2023.
We are not letting you go. The point is there has been some tremendous introduction, so you have to specify, and we'll be happy to listen, sir.
Dear friends, actually, I'm sorry that because I came late, there was another meeting regarding the naming ceremony of Diva Padisa for Mumbai Antarashtriya Vimantal. For that meeting, I was busy. But then I left that meeting and came here. I told Meenakshi Raj madam that I'll be coming, but I'll be slightly late. And actually, I'm happy to know that my all senior colleagues are there sitting in front of me, and they are also getting awarded all these things. And I'm really thank you for all these things. And since my biodata is already read by the concerned persons over here, I'll tell you one more thing. For my achievement, not professional achievement, but my family achievement, that I'll speak in Hindi, that मैं मेरे माता पिताजी को पूरा देश दिखाया है और प्रोफेशन में हर साल में करीबन 25-30 दिन हर स्टेट में हम उनको लेके जाते थे। जैसे कि आप चार धाम हैं, जो चार धाम उत्तरांचल में यमुनोत्री, गंगोत्री, केदार, बद्री और अपने पूरे देश में है। जैसे कि बद्री धाम ऊपर है, पुरी है, बाद में रामेश्वरम और द्वारका, वैसे हर एक स्टेट में उनको घुमाया है। और साथ में मेरे बीवी को मैं करीबन 30 देश में घुमाया है, 30 कंट्रीज। और एक बार तो मैं रोटरी के फंक्शन में, रोटरी इंटरनेशनल रोटरी कन्वेंशन में गया था अमेरिका में 2007 में, जब भी मैं हमारे क्लब का प्रेसिडेंट था। तभी हम लोग सोचा कि जब मैं जा ही रहा हूँ अमेरिका, जहाँ मेरे रिलेटिव्स उधर अटलांटिक कोस्ट पे रहते हैं, न्यू जर्सी वगैरह, और हमारा प्रोग्राम था पैसिफिक कोस्ट में जहाँ लॉस एंजलिस है। तो मैं दोनों कोस्ट पे जा रहा, दोनों कोस्ट का डिफरेंस बहुत है, 6 एरोप्लेन को 6 घंटा लगता है। तो मैं सोचा क्यों नहीं कि अपना पृथ्वी को प्रदक्षिणा कर दे। तो जाते समय मैं सिंगापुर एयरलाइंस से गया और यहाँ से सिंगापुर, सिंगापुर से जर्मनी, जर्मनी से अमेरिका, अमेरिका से जापान, जापान से सिंगापुर और इंडिया, सपत्नी पृथ्वी प्रदक्षिणा एक किया था। वैसे ही हर जगह हम जाते हैं तो हर जगह का क्या क्या स्पेशलिटी है वो भी देखते हैं। और प्रोफेशन में तो हर एक जन काम करते हैं। अभी हमारे महागुरु इधर बैठे हैं, पाटिल सर और मैं साथ में पढ़ा था। पाटिल सर ये आईसीएल में पढ़ा थे, मैं मॉडर्न कॉलेज में पढ़ा था। तो इनिशियल ईयर्स में हम लोग पूरे पढ़ाई में यानी हम लोग बच्चों को पढ़ाने के लिए ध्यान देते थे और वो हिसाब से हम लोग हमारा पूरा जर्नी तय किया। और अभी हम सोचते हैं कि जितना भी दे सके तो सोसाइटी को क्या दे सकते हैं वो देखना चाहिए। वो हिसाब से हम हमारे जो सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं, मैं एक्चुअली आई एम अ फॉलोअर रादर आई एम, मैं एक दिवा पटेल साहब का नाम आपने सुना रहेगा, उनका एक शिष्य हूँ। उनके साथ में 25 साल काम किया है। रादर रादर पूरे सालों में उनका जो सोशल जो डिवोशन है वो हम बहुत नजदीक से देखा है और वही इसमें हम काम करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। मुझे इधर बुलाने के लिए और मुझे सम्मानित करने के लिए मैं इन सबको धन्यवाद अदा करता हूँ और खाली इतना ही बोलता हूँ कि जिंदगी में बार बार ये मकाम आए, आप हमारे हम आपके काम आए। जिंदगी में बार बार ये मकाम आए, आप हमारे हम आपके काम आए। बस इतनी सी गुजारिश है कि आने वाले सालों में आपके दोस्तों में हमारा नाम आए। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
He is a qualified BCom FCA, completed his chartered accountancy in the year 1986, completed certified course on arbitration conducted by ICAI. He has been practicing chartered accountancy for the last 36 years in direct and indirect taxes. He was past chairman of Navi Mumbai branch of ICAI for the year 2009 to 2010. He was co-opted member of Indirect Tax Committee of ICAI for the year 2014-15. He had addressed chartered accountants across all the 5 regional councils of ICAI. He has been faculty for MCS course for CA students with topics on wealth management, will and succession. His keen interest remains in tree plantation and water harvesting. He has continuously supported an NGO by the name Sankalp in helping rural students at Khed, Maharashtra. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome CA Ashok Kumar Shetty.
So you need to emphasize on the tree plantation.
Okay, friends, we have all come up here with different backgrounds. I did my basic studies in Mangalore and came to Mumbai and studied at NG Bedekar College, Thane. I stood second in my college, so that gave me a lot of inspiration to become a chartered accountant. A lot of hard work, but then parents were not here, and I was for my BCom exams. I used Thane College library from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Then it was shut, and I used to go home. Not home, we had industrial canteens. I used to stay there with my brother. Now, thank you very much, organizers, for calling me here. Sir was talking about, explain about tree plantation. I always advocate about alternative income to all of us and chartered accountants also. I have been addressing people. Now, in 95, I bought some land at Panvel, little remote place. That is where I put, sir, a lot of trees, fruit growing trees. They're rewarding me today. And that was with a very specific thing in mind that I should have an passive alternative income other than my profession. So it is growing, and as it ages, it is becoming more beautiful. That's it, sir. Thank you so much.
Good to know that. Good to know.
She is the first lady practicing CA of Navi Mumbai with 28 years of teaching experience in UG and PG, PhD guide in accountancy of University of Mumbai. She is an author to 11 books of accountancy, worked in various committees of Navi Mumbai branch, WIRC and ICAI. Also a member of BOS and other committees of university. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for CA Dr. Meenakshi Raj.
The event is primarily possible because of Meenakshi madam. She is our teacher, and I knew, as I said, Patil sir and Meenakshi madam, and she took the initiative. There was this discussion of acknowledging the CA community, and the only contact which I knew, to be very frank, was madam. I spoke to her, she immediately recommended, I started talking, and believe you me, the entire credit goes to Meenakshi madam. Yes, certainly, yes. Her phone call made all the seniors come, and she said, first event has Sunil will ensure that the senior most people have been invited. So the next year becomes a little easy. The senior most then can recommend. The idea is to have a united association, which any which ways you people are having. But then we are also looking at the lighter part, the social aspects. That is something that can be acknowledged henceforth. Thank you so much. Madam, you need to speak.
Thank you. I really congratulations, Sunil. Thank you very much also to giving us opportunity to come forward to the society and say something. Because what we are in practice and what actually we are totally different, as you have seen also. Uh, I really thankful to my seniors, those who have accepted my request to come for the event and accepted the honor. I'm really thankful to. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, may I call upon CA EA Patil to receive the annual award Rupika 2023.
I'm taking the opportunity to introduce CAEA Patil sir is the first residential chartered accountant of Navi Mumbai. The biggest firm of Navi Mumbai, almost 7 to 10 chartered accountants. Almost more than 250 chartered accountants has been from his firm and more than thousands of chartered accountants from his college. We both were into ICM college. He was my senior head of the accountant. I learned a lot of things as a teacher also, as a practicing, while practicing also. I mean, he has more than 1,000 almost chartered accountant in his credit. Really a big honor that, sir, you have come and accepted our invitations. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. At the outset, I would like to thank Rupika Trust and directors of the Rupika Trust for arranging this event for chartered accountants, because very few people are recognizing the services given by the chartered accountants. So it's a special thing for us, for the chartered accountants, because we people make people to pay the tax. So they are annoyed with us. So they don't felicitate us. So yeah, it's a good thing you are doing. And we are happy to see all chartered accountants to be celebrated by you people. Friends, I think my introduction is given by all the people I know. I qualified in 79, 1979. I'm coming from the middle from farmers family. So I was not having support in Bombay. I was staying as a paying guest and then working, earning and learning like that. I had done my CA. Morning, my office was 11 to 6. So before that, 8 to 10, I used to do a part-time job. And from that, whatever I was getting, I'm maintaining for me in Bombay. So that is how I have done completed my CA. But I was having passion. I wanted to become a CA. In fact, I'm coming from the community, Raigad community, Raigad district agri committee is there. Tandel is also there in that. So that time, my time, in our community, what is CA, that was also not known. So there was no proper support from my family. Financial support was also not there. Then in that case, means my passion was there and determination was there. That is why I could complete. And then with whom I complete, he was my example in front of me. He was the head of the department of Poddar College. In his firm, I completed my articleship. So I kept a example, idol as him as an idol in front of me, because he is doing lectureship in Poddar College, and after that, in full day, he was doing practice. So that was a better way. In fact, many of the CS in Bombay, they are doing like that. So I said, I will do like that, because immediately after becoming a CA, you don't get a business and you have to maintain the file family. But luckily, immediately in 79 only, I married, and my missus was also serving in the Reserve Bank. So I was having support from my missus side also. Then I started my practice, but I followed him, my boss, who was a head of the department in Poddar College. So I also joined a lectureship in ICL College, in which college Meenakshi Madam was also there. Mahashabde sir was also there. And we are lucky to see our student is arranging a felicitation for us. In fact, we teachers, we wait for this moment only. See, it is said that अन्नदानम श्रेष्ठ दानम विद्यादानम तथा परम अन्नेन क्षणिका mukti. Yavat jivacha vidya. Say when you go in teaching profession, so this is the additional benefit you give. If you do अन्नदान अगर हम लोग करते हैं, तो अगर दोपहर का अन्न दिया उसको खाना दिया, तो दोपहर के लिए हम लोग को थैंक्स और वह शुक्रिया अदा करता है. मगर शाम को जब भूख लगती है, तो वो दोपहर का भूल जाता है. तो अन्नेन क्षणिका तृप्ति ऐसे कहा है. तो क्षणिका मतलब जो टाइम का देते हैं उतने टाइम के लिए वो थैंक देता है. बट यावत जीवच विद्या मतलब अगर आप टीचिंग ज्ञान ध्यान किया तो जब तक आपका जिंदगी है तब तक आपके स्टूडेंट आपको याद करेंगे. So that is the benefit of teaching. And that is why I'm happy to see Sunil arranging this event. When we see our students doing something special, then we teachers are becoming happy. So friends, I'm practicing for last 44 years. A big firm. I think these people are saying, I'm not saying, the biggest firm of New Bombay. We are having 150 more staff and 11 partners are there. Another 6-7 CAs are there who are employed. So biggest firm. And now I'm the senior most partner in the firm. But then when I completed, when my family responsibilities I have completed, because I have got 2 daughters. Elder daughter is a chartered accountant. Younger one is a PE engineer and MBA. Both are settled, both are married and well settled. So when I think when second daughter was married, they started thinking, see, such a good life is given by God. So why not to give remaining services to God? And I'm coming from the spiritual family. So I'm having background of spiritual. So now I have started giving spiritual lectures. So discourses, I'm giving spiritual discourses, and major time I devote in that. Because I say it's a very good, in English, philosopher has said, that look behind and thank God. Look ahead and trust God. Look around and serve God. And look within and find God. Very important 4 sentences are there. He said, look behind and thank God. I look behind and thank God because see, whatever life you have lived so happily, nothing has happened, no bad thing has not happened in your life. So that is because of what? Because grace of God. So look behind, see your life, how you have stayed your life. So look behind and give thanks to God because that is because of God. He said, look ahead and trust God. Look ahead and trust God means if you want to live happily your future life or further life, then you trust God as you have trusted so far. Similar way, you trust God and live your happy life happily. If you are not trusting God, He says, if you are not having trust God, then you have to face the worries in your life. And look around and serve God. If you want to serve God really, then you see around you those who are suffering, those who are having some problem, go and help them. That is a help to God. Serve God. It is service to God. So look around and serve God. In Marathi, Tukaram Maharaj ka jo Saint Tukaram is there. It says, "जे का रंजले गांजले, त्यासी म्हणे जो आपले तोची साधू ओळखावा." मतलब जो दुखी है आजू बाजू में उनको जाके हेल्प करो. That is a real service to the God. And look within and find God. If you want to see God, God is not anywhere in spiritual places and all. God is within you only. If you want to see God, look inside. जिसको बोलते हैं अंतर्मुख हो जाओ. तो मीराबाई का एक कोटेशन बहुत अच्छा है. क्या पानी में मीन प्यासी मोहे सुन सुन आवत हासी आत्मज्ञान बिन नर भटकत है कहाँ मथुरा काशी. मतलब पानी में अगर मछली को तैरते समय आप देखा तो वो पानी वो मछली है आपका सर ऊपर करके ऐसा ऐसा करके तैरता है. व्हाई? बिकॉज उसको प्यास लगी रहती है. So he is finding a water in water. He is in water, but he is finding water in the water. तो वो देख के मीरा भाई कहते हैं मैंने सुन सुन आवत हंसी, मतलब हमको हंसी आ रही है कि वो मछली पानी में है और पानी ढूंढ रही तो वैसे वो बोलते हैं आत्म ज्ञान बिन नर भटकते हैं कहाँ मथुरा काशी। जैसे वो मछली को पानी का ज्ञान नहीं, वो पानी में है इसका ज्ञान नहीं, इसके लिए वो पानी ढूंढ रहे हैं। जैसे हम लोग के विद इन गॉड, हम लोग के बीच में ही अंदर ही गॉड है, existence of God is within us only, but we don't have knowledge. That is why we find God everywhere. We search the God everywhere. तीर्थ यात्रा जाते हैं, चार धाम जाते हैं, इधर जाते हैं, उधर जाते हैं और भगवान को मिलना चाहते हैं। तो एक्चुअल मतलब गॉड इज विद इन यू ओनली, बट वी डोंट हैव नॉलेज। तो मछली के जैसे हम लोग ढूंढते रहते हैं, जैसा मछली पानी ढूंढता है, जैसे हम लोग भगवान को ढूंढते रहते हैं। ऐसे वेरी गुड 4 sentences are there. So when I completed all my family responsibility, I thought that such a good life is given by the God. So why not to give further life or devote our further life for the services to God? And that is why I started giving spiritual discourses. So that is a short story of my life. Thank you very much. You have called me here and felicitate me. Thanks a lot to Rupika Trust and their directors and organizers and my student Sunil. Thank you.
Now I request Mr. Sunil to kindly take his seat. May I call upon Director of Nayana Financial Services, Srimati Nayana, to kindly present the annual award Rupika for the year 2023. May I call upon CA Narendra Mangal to receive the annual award Rupika 2023.
हरिओम। मैं तो रुपीगा जी का तहे दिल से धन्यवाद देता हूं कि इस नाचीज को भी इतने सम्मान से नवाजा, और आप सबका भी शुक्रिया। इस जमाने जब बेटा बाप नहीं सुनता, पति पत्नी सुनता, आप सब सुनने बैठे हैं। प्रैक्टिस के लिए तो मैं इतना ही बोलूँगा कि 81 का दौर था, मैं इनकम टैक्स सीखने सीए बनने के बाद बॉम्बे जाता था। तो एक बार शाम को कुछ गणपति मंडल के ट्रस्टी मेरे पास आए घर पे कि हमको ऑडिट करवाना है और बैलेंस शीट, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट बनाना है। मैंने कहा ठीक है साहब, कर लेगा ये आपकी बुक्स वगैरह। तो ऑडिट में शुरू से हमारे जब स्टूडेंट आता है, पूरी बुक्स होगी, अकाउंट्स लिखा होगा, वाउचर्स होंगे, बैलेंस शीट बनी बनाई आएगी, अकाउंटेंट आएगा, बताएगा। दूसरे दिन दोपहर को वो लेकर आए, उस दिन मैंने छुट्टी ली। एक प्लास्टिक की थैली में सब बेल बाचा कटे फटे पुराने और 2 रसीद बुक और तुरवा का बहुत बड़ा वो गणपति का मंडल था। देखता है तो बुक्स नहीं, कुछ नहीं। बोला हमारे पास यही है, और क्योंकि हमको परमिशन लेनी है तो सीए का सर्टिफाइड बैलेंस शीट चाहिए। खैर कोई बात नहीं, मैं बाजार से बुक्स लेकर के आया, उसको रात भर बैठ के बनाया, दूसरे दिन उसको टाइप कराया और उनको मैंने दिया। उन्होंने पूछा कि आपकी फीस कितनी होगी। मैंने कहा मेरी अभी कोई फीस नहीं है, मेरा पहला जॉब है प्रोफेशनल। ठीक है, उन्होंने बोला हम आपको 100 रुपये पकड़ते हैं। मैंने कहा नहीं। मैंने उनको 1 रुपया देके 101 रुपये देके मैंने कहा गणपति का पहला काम है, आप मेरी तरफ से ये समझिए। और तब से गणपति बाबा का ऐसा आशीर्वाद मिला कि उसको आज पीछे मुड़ के नहीं देखा। पर एक चीज समझ में आ गई, यदि अगर आपने भगवान को अपने बिजनेस में, फर्म में, कोई भी प्रोफेशन में उसको पार्टनर बना लिया, जो भी परसेंटेज आप बिल में फिक्स कर लो और उस फीस में से आप उसके काम पे खर्च करते चले गए, तो जब भी हम उसको कभी हमारे प्रोफेशन में याद करते हैं किसी काम के लिए, तो वो खड़ा होकर के हमारी हेल्प करता है एज ए पार्टनर। ऊपर उनका साथ था और नीचे भगवान की दया से हमें इतने अच्छे जो हमारे कलीग्स हैं सारे, पाटिल साहब, ये फड़के जी, सिटी साहब, अध्यापक साहब, कभी किसी भी चीज की जरूरत पड़ी तो एज ए भाई बन करके उन्होंने हमको संभाल लिया सबको आपस में। ऊपर भगवान का, नीचे ऐसे साथियों का साथ से प्रैक्टिस मेरी चल पड़ी और मैं इन सबका शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। थैंक्स।
Next, I call upon CA Rajendra Phadke to receive the annual award Rupika 2023. Next, I call upon CA Rahul Gokhale to receive the award Rupika 2023. Supriya Gokhale. Supriya Gokhale. हाँ.
She stood all over India 11th rank. So that was a great achievement. We all cherished actually that. हम लोग सबको बताते हैं कि उसको combined mark आ गए हम दोनों के. So that's how she just 2 years back only she completed CA with 11th rank and she has joined our firm. She recently completed US CPA exam also, and she is a good. I mean, a very different qualification is that she can speak good Mandarin as well. So that's about our family. I'm a cost accountant and chartered accountant. So we are that way migrants. We both are from Thane. We completed our CA from Thane. And when we shifted to Vashi, we had stalwarts like E.A. Patil sir and everybody. And we were bit nervous that how we can survive in this thing because the clientele were different. The area of practice, what we had done in Thane was different. So but then it gave me impetus to learn something new, to adopt something new. That's how we got more into mergers and amalgamation, startups. So a little part of our service, what we do is that we help a lot of startups to start their activities. Initially, we don't charge them. We help them to grow. We help them to survive, and then we become a part of their journey. So that's some small contribution we make for the startups. And we have a different kind of practice that way that we are more into foreign companies, their Indian operations, and we support them for their India operation. All that was possible because that way we are new to this field in New Bombay, but New Bombay really gave us a good fillip, and we are happy for this entire journey of 25 years. Thank you.
Now I call upon CA Sanjay Nikam to receive the annual award Rupika 2023. May I request Shri Dheeraj Malhotra to do the honors.
Thank you, Sunil. And thank you, Dheeraj bhai, for felicitating me. Sunil, I'm appreciating this opportunity. Friends, I'll not talk much about myself because my mentors and my gurus are sitting here. Patil sir, Shetty sir, Meenakshi madam, Padke sir, Adhyapak sir, Rahul, my senior friend also, Mangal sir, Mahashabde sir, and my professor in my 11th, Tandal sir, who taught me debit and credit. And now, sir, I'm sitting here as a chartered accountant. I personally thank you for this honor. But being a chartered accountant, let me tell you my story. I cleared my CA in 98. This honor I'm taking not as my personal honor. This is honor of my profession, because whatever I'm today is because of my profession. And let me tell you, I'm representing the chartered accountants at ICI Western region, consist of Maharashtra, Goa, and Gujarat. So this is because of blessings and support, guidance from these all chartered accountants. So I'll talk about my profession. Friends, though we are celebrating the CA Day on today at 8th of July, but the actual CA Day was on 1st July. Friends, our constitution enacted in 1950, but our act enacted in 1949. So we are 1 year senior to the constitution also. So since then, our profession is catering and helping, supporting the commerce industry in India. 1948-47 में जो इंडिया था, now we are 5th largest economy in the world. There are 350,000 plus chartered accountants. Out of them, around 150,000 chartered accountants are out of India. 2 lakh chartered accountants are in India. Out of them, around 50,000 chartered accountants are not in position to serve the profession. So hardly 150,000 chartered accountants are catering needs of the industry of around 5 trillion, up to 3.5 or 4 trillion economy. So this kind of big task our chartered accountants are doing, and I appreciate, sir. जैसे सर ने, पाटिल सर ने बोला कि we used to do the anti chamber practice. तो जो भी बात होती थी confidential होती थी. तो आज तक हमने thankless job किया. But आज we appreciate that the society is appreciating our efforts. Friends, I'll take one more minute. 75 years में जो growth हुआ है economy का, उसको एक अपने past late president ने honor किया था, late Abdul Kalam sir ने. It is for not chartered accountants, the other people who are listening here, they recognize our contribution as a chartered accountants are partner in nation building. So इतना बड़ा honor ये profession को दिया था. Our Modi sir, Honorable Prime Minister Modi sir ने recognize किया था कि the chartered accountant signature is recognized all over the nation. उसमें कोई difference नहीं. IAS officer अपने department की signature कर सकता है, but chartered accountant का signature all over accepted है. तो ये recognition है हमारे profession को. I appreciate your efforts and thank you for recognizing our profession. This honor is for our profession. Thank you very much.
Sanjay's name was suggested by Krishna Thakur, who happens to be a good friend of mine. And Sanjay, you're right. In fact, 1st of July, it is National Doctors' Day also. So we were conducting that event, and that was the reason we had to delay this. Thank you so much.
Next, I invite CA Adhyapak to receive the annual award Rupika 2023. I request Mr. Dheeraj Malhotra to do the honors.
Friends, at an outset, I would like to thank this Rupika Trust for honoring our profession. About myself, I would say I qualified in 1985. Then I was working with Raymond Woolen Mills Limited for about 3.5, 4 years. There I got introduction of Mr. Suresh Prabhu, who was industry minister with Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government. he convinced me to come to Navi Mumbai. Basically, I am from Thane. I had not even seen Vashi prior to venturing here in for practice. So, along with him, I started practicing in Navi Mumbai till 1992. We were together. Initially, Mr. Prabhu had said that he is going to be, he has a wish of becoming chairman of Saraswat Cooperative Bank. When we joined together, he was vice chairman. Thereafter, he joined active politics. And thereafter, we had to break the partnership. But then I continued. And initially, I had thought of again leaving practice and going for service. But seniors like Patil sir convinced me to continue. And now I am going ahead with practice, doing well. Thank you.
Next, I invite CA SV Shanbag to receive annual award Rupika 2023. I request Mr. Vijay Jaiswal and Kanchan Jaiswal to present the award to CA SV Shanbag.
So Meenakshi madam, please do. Yeah, somebody else can.
Now I call upon CA Kirat Amratlal Pandya to receive the award. I request Mr. Vijay Jaiswal to do the honors. Can we have some claps?
My name is Kirit Amrutlal Pandya. I am practicing since 1989. I have an office at Airoli. Actually, I came from small village of Gujarat, and I learned my ABCD when I was 8th standard. So it was very difficult when I cleared my SSC and came to Bombay. And I was admitted to KG Sobhai Hospital, Sobhai College. It was very difficult for me to understand English also. But slowly and gradually, with the help of dictionary and my friends, I learned English also, and I became C. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next, I invite CA Francis V to receive the annual award Rupika 2023. I request Mr. Dheeraj Malhotra to do the honors. Next, I call upon CA Shankar to receive the annual award Rupika 2023. I request Mr. Jaiswal to do the honors. I request Nayana madam to do the honors.
Thank you all. As I have already told, my seniors are all here. We are very fortunate to be part of with the seniors. So we have been growing with them. So thank you all. Thank you for the profession. On behalf of the profession, this is everyone. Thank you so much.
Now I request all the award-winning CAs along with the event participating CAs to come forward for a group photograph. Team Secure Dream, Team Nayana. Huh? Team Nayana Financial Services, Team Amplifier Advisory, and Team InMajor City to join as well. The participating CAs, CA Pratik M. Dugar, CA Shashi Ranjan, CA Vimal Panjiar, CA Hardik Baua, CA Jamin Baua, CA Abhishek Botra, CA Mayur Gavde, CA Abhijit Gole, CA Ambuj Gupta, CA Sheila Gupta, CA Anju Jadhav, CA Sachitan Joshi, CA Aryant Kochar, CA Naveen Gupta, CA Patel, CA Chetan Patel, CA Shweta Sabu, CA Sachin, CA Gaurav Shah, CA Sabha Sheikh, CA Agarwal, and CA Rahul Sharma. I request Mr. Dheeraj Malhotra to join as well. It's a group photograph.
एक बार में बुलाना चाहिए बोल देना चाहिए और चीज कम अभी यही हुआ
Or thank you, Lulu, for
थैंक यू
now I request.
अभी नहीं है कुछ बुकिंग हमारे खत्म हो गए हैं इसमें Naina madam from Naina Financial Services. The stage. अभी
अभी एक को बुलाने से फिर होगा मेरा क्या क्या
Hello. Madam from Naina Financial Services to kindly take the stage.
Fantastic.
May I request?
Please be seated. Dheeraj sir. to take.
नहीं ये सर को लगी है मुझे बाद में तो सर आप रुकिए ना बाजू में खड़े रहो कविता फोटोग्राफरला सांग मी आता जेव्हा इंट्रोडक्शन देते आणि आपण त्याबद्दल समोरून एक फोटो घे आणि असा आपण जो का प्राऊड साईड हां चालले ना ते आता 2-3 सी Hello, please take a seat. Now the main program will start very soon. विजय अपने पीछे ये लगा
Don't keep them waiting. Speak.
So I'm happy to introduce Dheeraj Malhotra sir. हम लोग एज एन इंश्योरेंस एडवाइजर सर से ऑलमोस्ट लॉकडाउन के टाइम से ट्रेनिंग ले रहे हैं एंड वी रियली हैव गॉट न्यू पर्सपेक्टिव फॉर हेल्पिंग आवर क्लाइंट्स स्पेशली हाउ टू understand needs of our clients that need-based selling sir has always guided us about. And also business insurance is a niche category in life insurance. We were doing something, but again in that sir has given us a lot of enlightenment in that subject. So I'll not take much time. I'll just introduce him formally. He has 28 years experience in life insurance industry. Out of that 17 years totally in life insurance industry. He is master trainer of Limra India. He is expert on financial planning and he was moderator for American College, also has an associate and he's member of Academic Council of India's first public sector skills university and consultant on leadership to UNICEF Rajasthan. Now over to Dheeraj Malhotra sir.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I was just trying to fix up a banner for them. So let me put up my slides now. First of all, it's a very big honor to be in front of such esteemed client. I mean, audience. You can see I'm nervous. I always get nervous when I meet CAs. I get nervous when I meet one CA. Imagine what happens when you meet so many of them. So, anyway, so I guess anybody who doesn't respect a CA must get a notice. Okay. So, well, thank you very much. How do I start? It's such an, I think I should start just by moving some slides The purpose of this session is to bring up a few concepts, maybe bring them to forefront. They were somewhat in the background, bring them in the spotlight, which can help us help our clients better. जैसा अभी जैसा अभी मैं I was talking to मेरे शहर के रहने वाले नरेंद्र जी से बात कर रहा था. तो नरेंद्र जी अजमेर से हैं and I also happen to be from अजमेर राजस्थान. And आपसे थोड़ी देर पहले एक गलत बात बोली गई. मैं स्पेशली यहाँ आपसे इस बारे में बात करने आया हूँ. नहीं, यहाँ के बाद मैं लोनावाला जा रहा हूँ और 2 दिन पहले मुंबई था. But yes, I would have stayed back. I stayed back for 2 days for this to interact with you. उन्होंने कहा था कि पैसा कमाना बड़ा आसान है, उसे बचाना, उसे सेव करना, उसे इन्वेस्ट करना, सहेज के रखना, it's proportionately more difficult. And this is what we are going to talk about here. Through helping some of our business owner clients guarantee their business and their families better. I'm sorry, my slide changer is working like an American wife, dysfunctional. So guaranteeing dreams of business and business owners' families. How to create a non-attachable family trust under Married Women's Property Act. इसे मेरे ख्याल से किताबों में हमने स्त्री धन के तौर पे पढ़ा है. A concept which has taken a substantial backseat but can safeguard a lot of families' assets. And it's something which we'll talk about, the laws governing MWPA Act. I think I'm very incompetent to talk about these subjects in front of stalwarts like you, but I'll still try to do my bit because I have helped many business owners create such a trust in my life, including Mr. Ravi Ruia and many other business owners. So today they have some challenges, but tomorrow probably one day they'll bless God that I supported them with this. Comparison of various trusts with respect to creation, management, growth, attachability, beneficiaries. We'll talk about IBC and its impact on businesses and why this has become more important. We'll talk about succession planning, leaving a legacy under MWPA trust, and life insurance, how it supports creating that trust. This is all useless, but I think a very useful thing which I feel is a substantial pain today as a financial planner, as a CFP, and as a practitioner, is that when a financial planner reaches a client today in India or any of the emerging markets, what is happening is there's a prescription happening without a diagnosis. These people, I mean, they've been taught to sell products. You go to your bank, meet a relationship manager, and relationship manager says, "Sir, kuch to le lo." It's not vegetable. And I think as fraternity, we need to change this. We need to bring more sensibility into how financial products are being sold and recommended. My purpose of life for next 2 years is to assist that transformation from just product pushers in financial service industry to someone who can diagnose and advise people with solutions which will help them achieve their lifetime goals. And save enough money for them. So that's the purpose of life. I think more than this, a purpose is probably more important. And because of this purpose, I wrote a course, which is an MBA course getting launched in St. Xavier's, Jaipur now. It's a course it's a 2 years MBA in individual financial planning, where we're not teaching them theory. I have been an industry person, and I think students are taught to really be able to diagnose correctly, which is not pure finance, really. It's behavioral finance, because unless the customer's behavior is not aligned, the financial discussions doesn't even come up. Us level pe discussion hi nahi aata ki customer aapko trust kar sake and you're able to advise something. But there has to be an adequate amount of financial calculations, time value of money calculations, present value, future value, the amount of money that they need to save in order to save enough money. And the biggest challenge today is, I think, adequacy. As an industry, I can say that financial services industry can be blamed for probably prescribing the right medicine, but in pediatric dosages. Recommendations theek the, but chahiye, and nobody asks this right question. A life insurance agent comes and says, "Aap kitna paisa bhar sakte ho?" And that's an obnoxious question. It's not. Imagine a doctor asking you, "Ki kitne rupaye ki dawai khareed sakte ho?" Would you be able to ever trust that doctor? Sawal to wahi hai. But I think we should be able to the industry should be groomed enough, and I think regulators are to be blamed. And it's not about fixing a blame, it's about finding a solution. But regulators have not done enough in financial service industry, be it SEBI or be it IRDA, whatever. We haven't groomed our people enough. Thanks to the Chartered Accountant Association of India, that chartered accountants are groomed enough before they serve even one client, and that's hats off to all of you. In our industry, we are probably, this is the only industry in the world where you don't do an induction training properly and send them out. Imagine they're responsible for helping people invest their money for the rest of their life, and the money is locked in assets, which they can't even take out. And people, the problem is just like, if you prescribe an antibiotic in pediatric dosage to a person, this person is likely to develop an antibiotic resistance. Same happens in financial products. You're given a product कि ये बच्चे की पढ़ाई के लिए आप ये ले लो, ये ले लिया. This customer feels कि बच्चे की पढ़ाई का बंदोबस्त हो गया, and this person develops resistance to another suggestion. It's a problem, I think, and my purpose of life is to transform this change from just product pushers to some diagnosis, some sensibility, so that and that's the reason also why the fraternity in financial planning is not respected today. People run away from it because we haven't yet learned to do things responsibly. We need to do that. It's not just an Indian problem. It's a problem with every emerging market today. Developed markets have mandated it. Like, I mean, if you go to US, even before you buy a single life insurance solution, the agent has to do a 21-page fact finder. That's mandatory. In India, there's nothing like that. LIC developed something which is called a suitability questionnaire. And in that end of the questionnaire, there's a tick box where it says the client doesn't want it. And in 99% of the policies, that box is ticked. Which means a patient told a doctor ki boss bina diagnosis ka dawa de do. We have to find solution to these challenges. The problem is not agents, and the problem is organizations who are not grooming people enough, and regulator hasn't mandated it. Regulator has regulated the companies well, but they haven't regulated the standard of practice at all, especially in financial services industry. And that's where I say that I think industry, chartered accountancy is very, very respectable. And I think Indian complete financial ecosystem is so stable because the accounting practices have been the best in the world. Basis this, I want to also report to something because I represent Limra, which is a 107-year-old organization, and I happen to be Chief Master Trainer India and South Asia. Limra has been doing research since 1915 in life insurance industry. And one of my friend expired 4 years back, Fayaz Ahmed. Wife was not very literate, so while he was dying, he said that you take care of our investments, and thanks to you have adequate insurance. So about 1.5 crores had to be invested. I was searching because his wife is not literate enough. Ye paisa kahan invest kiya jaye? And I was searching which place would be safe, because if that's not invested well, her relatives will take it. That's what happens, and sadly. So then I was searching, and I did that research with Limra, and I found out, and I was considering some of the LIC solutions, like Jeevan Akshay or something like that, which can give them lifetime pension on a guaranteed basis at a fixed annuity rate for the rest of their life. And something which I discovered accidentally is that, and it's thanks to the financial practices in India, that LIC is one of the 2 best financially leveraged companies in the world. I'll repeat what I just said. Life Insurance Corporation of India is one of the 2 best financially leveraged companies in the world. And it's not just thanks to LIC. It's thanks to Government of India. It's thanks to financial practices in India that if we are giving an annuity solution, which is a long term, maybe 70, 80 years, tak aapko lagatar pension deni, if you don't financially leverage it enough, right, many companies will go bankrupt. Probably, many companies in Europe prevented bankruptcy because of COVID. A lot of elderly people died and they were, saved off paying that pension. Nahi deni padi na. Otherwise, probably some companies would have been in a tight spot without naming a few companies. But anyway, I'll start by that, but I'll come to this, something which is not happening. As per Institute of Banking, you will agree, and there's nothing new here for you. You know this is basic finance, that first you should take care of budgeting, roti kapda makan, and then people should have enough money for managing their debt. Protection, not from animals, but protection of standard of living of a family. and then taking care of saving and investing for your child's marriage, your wife's, sorry, not wife's, child's marriage, your children's education. Retirement and then comes speculative is the standard financial recommendation. However, when you talk to individuals, what they choose to do is that they choose to make this inward pyramid. Everybody wants more return without realizing that there is big risk. And if you make an inverted pyramid, and if there is a slight turmoil, it will fall. People don't realize. You look at many investment bankers today, they're talking to people about returns, and they're not talking about creating a very stable structure like pyramid with their investments and financial planning. I think that needs to be done. And there is another big challenge today. I was looking at UN population division data. Today in India, two-third of the people are below 60 years of age, working population. One-third are dependent, which can be dependent by virtue of their being a child, or dependent financially, not otherwise, by virtue of being a homemaker. But as the demography is moving, by about 2050, two-thirds of Indian population will be above the age of 60, or dependents, and one-third working. This brings us to a very big pension challenge that our country is going to face in future. Today also, if you go to any ATM and you look at the guard, what's the average age of guard in your building? What's the average age of the guard? Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever asked them a question कि भैया क्यों काम कर रहे हो? I did. And they said, क्या करें? काम करना पड़ता है. किसी ने सही समय पे आके सही फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग करी होती तो शायद नहीं करना पड़ता. If you go to Hong Kong port, right, most of the porters die there. Every year about 20 deaths happen in Hong Kong port, and most of the porters, the average age is about 70. Why? Because there is a pension inadequacy. Anyway, there is no social security system in India, just like Canada or some of the Scandinavian countries, not US. Because US IRA से जो भी बचाया था उसमें से भी 40-50% तो उड़ चुका because of financial turmoil in the markets, right? We are far more stable. As a country, we are stable, and that's thanks to you. I think who was saying that? I think Mr. Pandya, no, Mr. Pandya, he's not here right now. That younger CA, I forgot the name. My apologies. But he was saying that India is the 5th largest economy, and we are poised to grow and become Sanjay Nikam, and we are poised to grow to become the 3rd largest economy towards the end of this decade, I guess. And now, while that is happening, the expenses are going to increase substantially. Our standard of living is increasing substantially, but the biggest problem that we're going to face in another 20 years is pension inadequacy. Today, Europe is reeling under that. Europe has more than 300% pension debt, which means that if they need 3 billion euros to give pensions to all the people, they have arrangement of just 1 billion euros. Remaining, 4 billion euros is the need. They have arrangement for 1 billion euros, so 300% is the pension debt. In US also, it's about 100%. In India, nobody has calculated it, but if someone calculates, they'll find it much higher. Big problem. Here, why I'm talking about retirement planning is that while even the Institute of Banking places it at 4th position, or 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th priority in terms of financial planning. But imagine the day a person retires, this retirement planning starts providing for roti kapda makan also. And people don't give retirement planning that much of priority in their life. And today, one of the topics that we'll also discuss is quickly how we can help people, business owners especially, build a substantial, is not the right word, adequate retirement corpus using company profits on a tax-deferred manner. And that can be done, not tax avoidance, but a deferment manner. We'll talk about it. We were talking about saving. And I think I was talking to some people that every business owner, I'm talking about business owners here, not the salaried people. Every business owner, the main focus is to build their profits, which is like imarat ko bahut uncha khada karna. If I can use an analogy, it is akin to a building, you're totally focused on profits. And while they're focusing on it, what they neglect often is building a substantial foundation. Uska paya in Marathi or in Hindi, uski neev badi kamzor ho jati. They don't have enough. Uh, and I was discussing this, and one of my friend who happens to be an architecture was there. And this emerged from there that as per Renkine formula, the the depth of the foundation is determined like this, where minimum depth is Q by gamma, which is Q is the plinth of the building and gamma is the height of the building. So wider the plinth, lesser is the depth required. Just like pyramid, or better than pyramid, I think is the Shiva temple at Kanji, no Kanjivaram, Kanji. Which place is that? Tanjavur, sorry. And why Kanjivaram? Because both are saris for me as a North Indian. So, Kanjivaram and Tanjavur also, no, Tanjavur is painting. Anyway, Tanjavur, Shiva temple doesn't have any foundation because the structure is like that. But I'm talking about a business owner. I think as financial planners, even as a chartered accountants, our focus should, of course, be to support them, increase the height of the business, but also to alert them enough that the foundation should not stay shallow. We have seen many organizations crumble in the face of any calamity because the foundation financially was not strong enough. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I think in chartered accountancy, you help people and make them cautious of that their foundation is crumbling. But fact of the matter, another fact check, which I did with many business owners, is how many of them have really seen, the profit and loss statement for last 3 years? How many business owners? Is this just a document for filing, or does the business owner actually understand it? And I figured out that many business owners, especially the mid-segment business owners, don't read it. They don't understand it. Last 3 years, complete balance sheet is actually indicating to a trend where the business is going. They don't read it. How many of you agree with what I'm saying? That it remains a document for filing, they don't read it. And imagine if a business owner starts reading 3 years balance sheet. This business owner actually gets a trend where the business is growing and can be alerted proactively. Ki, boss, your business is going down the hill, right? Your turnover is increasing, but your profit margin is shrinking. You have too much of outstanding in the market, right? Or your sundry debtors is increasing, creditors increasing, or your inventory level is building up. Have you lost some key persons today who are pushing goods and who are responsible for selling goods in the market, finished goods, or your raw materials? It is indicating to some challenges within the organization. The problem is their CFO or even the chartered accountant makes that statement. They see the statement, they think it's a document for filing, they don't go through that, and nobody teaches them how to read that trend. Do you think we can take that responsibility to help our clients a bit by helping them indicate this is the trend in the last 3 years? How many of you feel this will help many of our business owners? Yeah. So that's so, and therefore, this is another foundation. But the foundation that I'm talking about today is different. This is a business owner's world, which is that business owner is in the center, and the family, debtors, government, customs, employees, and creditors are all around the business owner. Imagine if the business owner suffers from any of the 4 Ds, which is death, disease, disability, or retirement, destitution, whatever. The family will continue. If the business owner dies, the family will immediately try to pull out all the money from the business. Debtors will probably pay or not pay. I know on many of business owners, especially today, because of GST, I think a lot of economies gradually shifting to white. But in old days, where a lot of people, business used to happen in kacha, chitti. Sorry? You can't exactly say 2 number because that was the way they were doing it. Some of it was to, right? But yes, to save taxes. Even today now, I think pro forma invoices are very, very common because I would raise the invoice only when I'm supposed to get the money. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I have to deposit GST by 20th of next month. And if I have a, side, you understand, side कि भाई मैं उस business से 3 महीने बाद पैसे लेता हूँ, because 3 महीने की side दी हुई है. इस 3 महीने की side में there is only a pro forma invoice, which is not a legally admissible document. I know a few cases. I was in Kolkata, posted in Kolkata at that time. And I know a few cases where, some big one of the biggest cloth wholesaler in Kolkata, right? He had, and whenever, उसने काफी माल मंगाया transporter से जैसे मंगाते हैं, और जब भी माल मंगाया उसने बिल्टी या वे बिल या चालान पे साइन करके वो माल लिया. And then as we say wholesalers ने सारा माल मार्केट में फेंक दिया. That's the language which I guess they use, right? सारा माल मार्केट में फेंक दिया. And on such chitti parchi, their Munimji was purchased by one of the biggest retailers, and the family was on roads because the suppliers have all the documents that they have received the goods, but the business owner or the family, business owner is not there, and the family doesn't have any document. That's one when I think debtors may default if the business owner is not there to take care of business. Government is very, very consistent. If you're there, give me tax. If you're not there, give me tax. So governments are consistent and the laws are very consistent for everyone. Customers will trust the business less if the business owner is not there. Employees will feel it's like a sinking ship. The rats will run away. If a business is going down the hill, they see that business owner is not there. They feel insecure. Genuinely, if I was an employee, I would have felt insecure. And if someone else is giving me 5% more, I'll probably shift my loyalty. And then the business needs them maximum when the owner is not there. This is called a vicious cycle. And creditors will continue to ask for their money. In fact, that, if a business owner dies and the bank gets to know, immediately the OD is stopped and the recovery start. This business owner is under substantial challenge if anything happens unplanned. And this is called a vicious cycle, basically, in a business owner's world, but we can help through helping them create a non-attachable trust for themselves and the family. I'll be very quick. This trust is created by Married Women's Property Act, an act which was created by British Parliament in 1871, and they came to India in 1874. Unlike, they were not fair to Indians because till I think 1935 Insurance Act, Indians were not allowed to buy life insurance policy. So they were not allowed to even, secure some assets under Married Women's Property. And I'm sure many of you have read about it. I think in old days, this was called Stridhan. Presently also is Stridhan. But the concept is known and lesser used, is what I'm talking about. It's a very useful concept for every business family. If you're a businessman, don't you think a reasonable amount of your assets should be protected in a trust which nobody can take away? I'll give you the biggest example of MW, and I'm not reading all this language because it's there in that 11-page document which you have, right? And I'm not going through because if I give this document to, let's say, a life insurance professional or a banker, they will not read it, but you're chartered accountants. So I trust you'll read it. This is probably one of the most comprehensive document on MWPA. I have compiled this by combining the actual act, what IRDA has written about it, and also what LIC states it, because whatever LIC states is legally sound, generally. Not generally, always. So I'm not going through this act, but it creates that trust. A trust which is only for the benefit of beneficiaries, and the beneficiary can be wife and or children. So it can be one child alone, it can be both children, and it can also be just the wife alone. And if in case of a Muslim, there are more than one wife, it can be, both of them can be beneficiaries. So this was created, and this can be used substantially to secure this. So let me give you a bad example of MWPA. Bad example. You remember the stamp paper scam? Right? Who's behind it? Right? And where's his family staying? Tilaki died in custody, but where is his family staying today? It's a question, right? Okay, they stay in Dubai. How do they get enough money to stay in Dubai? Right? So Telagi had a 20 crore Married Women's Property Act trust. Sadly, the statutes which our government makes, they themselves cannot break it. Right? This policy could not be attached because government could not prove it that at the time of taking this policy, Telagi had started criminal proceedings or doing some, malified intention of doing a business. It's impossible to prove. Right? Sadly, even that kind of a family is a beneficiary of a good act generally created for the benefit of wife and children, or the families of business owners now, as we say. There are many other business owners we talk about. I talk about a Jain family from Chennai. One of my gurus, his name is Tyagraj, he happens to be a chartered accountant and also a life insurance professional. So he's from Puducherry. He sold this Jain family substantially, helped them create a reasonable size trust under Married Women's Property Act. And this Jain family had two brothers and another friend as an outside partner. Their brothers had a dispute. And you know what happens to a partnership firm when there is a dispute? Right? There can't be anything worse than that, than a dispute. So the firm split away, the business stopped, the gates were locked, the creditors came, they had to file for a bankruptcy. This Jain family today owns that firm again. Why? Because when they became bankrupt, they went to Mr. Tyagraj and they said, what happened to some of our LIC policies? And he said, well, all policies are attached. By the way, as per Government of India statute, a policy cannot be attached, but they are attached, except those which are covered under Married Women's Property Act. So that this policy was not attached. It cannot be attached because when you create this trust, this money doesn't belong to you. It belongs to trust. So you are testator, you have bequeathed this money as a testator, and it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the trust. And it doesn't belong to your wife because it's not her property. It doesn't belong to your children because it's not their property. They're just beneficial owners. They're recipients, but the money doesn't belong to the family, so it cannot be attached. You understand the power of creating such a locker for many of our business owners. It's like a safe, which cannot be penetrated. It can be misused, but for many business owners, I'm sure it will be a great blessing in distress. Right, and that's what I just wanted to highlight this topic because it's a very, very powerful tool for our business owner clients. We can help them, and I think every business family has a reasonable amount of money, and we'll talk about some calculations on that money very quickly. However, such a trust cannot be created in any other asset class except a life insurance policy, and that too not after the policy was taken, but only before the inception of the policy. And there is no need for registering this trust. This policy documents become a trust document, and it cannot be attached. There are many questions about it. And what happens if a divorce happens? These days, people are very, very scared about divorces. In the absence of culture, the incidence is increasing, sadly. But what happens in case of a divorce? So I have 4 precedents where what happened in case of divorce. Court ordered this policy to be given to the wife as alimony, right, for her benefit and for children's benefit. There was one very unique case. On a lighter note, not a serious note, this was a case from Bihar, where this gentleman who was the proposer, but not the owner, because owner is a trust, right, of this policy. This MWPA was ordered to be nullified from that policy. Why? Because this guy went to the court and he says there was a life-threatening attack on my life, and he proved it. And the person was caught who was attacking this guy. This person was his wife's brother. He says, "Why is he attacking me? They want to kill me because the wife is beneficiary and she'll get all the money." The entire sum assured. So this policy is enhancing a threat on my life. It's a moral hazard. My lord, this policy may be brought out of Married Women's Property Act, and whatever is a surrender value, let her take it. At least I'll be safe. So that's the only case. Otherwise, the policies were allowed as alimony to the estranged wife. In Mumbai, I knew a person who asked me, "What can I do My sister's husband is an idiot, right? You understand, in a married life, idiot means that this guy is not sincere to his wife. What should I do to secure her? My advice to him is that in that tender moment when this husband and wife and husband is sort of caught, ask the wife to force him to take a policy with her as a beneficiary. This can never be, surrendered by the husband, or the monies cannot be taken by the husband, and the lady is financially secure in this situation. It can be used in multiple ways to do that. And let's see a case of succession planning using this. All this write-up is there anyway in the write-up. The beneficiaries, as I mentioned, so there are basically three separate bodies. There is one proposer, which is someone who's proposed the policy. There are trustees. Anybody can be a trustee who's above 18 years, and you know who can be a trustee. And the third thing is beneficiaries, which can be wife alone, wife or children together, or any of them. It can be just one child. I know it's not. That's what. Okay. The person must be either married, widower, or divorced. So there was a film star who approached us and said, "Can I take a policy for my adopted child under MWPA?" And this film star never married, so he cannot. The person either should have been married or divorced or widow. All benefits, including maturity benefits, will be received by beneficiaries only and only. This act supersedes will. And because it's not your property, you cannot bequeath it to anyone in a will anyway. This policy belongs to a trust, which is for the wife beneficiary, which can only be wife and children. So that's the security here, that in a way, it's a more foolproof arrangement of succession than even a will. Because where there is will, can you complete this sentence? Where there is a will, can you complete? Okay. Okay. Any other answer? Where there is a will, there is a. I am asking a legal answer. Absolutely. Where there is a will, there is a probate. And this probate is painful. I'm sure you will agree. The probates have proven to be very, very lengthy and painful. I know a person. I used to call him a friend once. Now I don't, because he's a lawyer, literally a liar. And his job is wherever there is a big will which comes in his court. And there are two newspapers which are very sidey newspapers, not the mainstream, because it's cheaper to publish, any notice there. So when will comes for a probate, the court says serve notice in two newspapers, sidey newspapers, which only lawyers read. Right? This guy reads them, and whenever there is a bigger will which has come for a probate, this guy will go for injunction. Right? You understand this lawyer, but actually a liar, is going for an injunction in a will where कोई रिश्ता नहीं है दूर दूर तक, कहीं से वो हकदार भी नहीं, वो injunction, because case खींचना है, and the case gets stretched. The distressed actual beneficiary will go for out of court settlement. 50 crore की property, 5 crore out of court settlement. So will is not a foolproof way. Will comes with a lot of challenges in court. I must also say and add a bit that same with succession. Succession without nomination. This is a very painful topic. One of my friends who happens to be an officer with LIC, his brother died in Jaipur some 1 year back. Kiran Latkar, right? His brother died in Pune, in Jaipur. His brother was posted in Jaipur, and his brother had left about 50 lakhs worth of shares. But the problem is there was no nomination in those shares. Right? And when there is no nomination, the wife will have to go through a complete succession, legal hires. So, and succession certificate has to be obtained from a court, and the process is almost 3 years long. And 3 years is okay. But 12% is the government fees. And imagine the torture to a family just because a person forgot to mention nomination. Today, if you go to most of the mutual fund, these things, now they've made it mandatory. Mutual fund industry has made it mandatory now. But there are many other instruments. Even if you go and check bank accounts, most of them, they don't have nominations. Though it is mandatory, but people haven't gone. Mutual fund, it is mandatory, but how many have actually got the nomination? relationship is still okay. Relationship is still much better than succession. Imagine succession is 12% gone straight away. And then you have to wait for 3 years. It's painful. I'm just talking about these issues because I think many of our clients, your clients, may not be aware of them. They are not aware of them. And if they're not aware of them because they're ignorant, they suffer if something goes wrong. I think we can probably help them, guide them to be a little aware of this. I just mentioned will such nomination here. But nominations are not allowed in this policy because you're not the owner. How can you nominate? And a trust cannot have nominees. Trust can only have beneficiaries. And here beneficiaries are clearly classified. They can only be wife and or children. No one else. Insolvency bankruptcy code, I think, has furthermore triggered the need of such a trust for business owners. Because you will agree that earlier the scenario was RBI though mandated banks to get personal guarantee of directors' business loans taken by companies, but I think the change happened on December 1, 2019. Businesses who give personal guarantees will come under IBC, and in IBC, you know, that settlement, whatever has to happen in just about 180 stretch to 270 days, and then everything is attached. Even if the default is for 1 lakh and you have a property worth 100 crores, it's attached. And I know a few IBC professionals, practitioners in Bombay. It's a very painful thing. And how to mitigate the risk that this trust of a reasonable amount should be created. And the family is relatively safe even if that IBC gets triggered, because I think after IBC, the recoveries have become faster and the business owner may not be defaulter in most of the cases. I mean, you said you were helping many startups, right? So who said? Right. Rahul. Okay. Rahul said he's helping a lot of startups, and you know what percentage of startups fail in India within first 3 years? No, as per data, it is 55%. But that's a huge number. Imagine, you know, when you do a startup, what? Sorry. It's about 55%. That's huge number. But imagine when someone does a startup, what amount of their net worth they push in that startup? Generally, it is more than 100%. Why more than 100%? Because most of it is borrowed. And these days, this debt trap is increasingly engulfing more Indians. It has already engulfed America because they live from credit card to credit card. Thankfully, हमारे यहाँ मतलब अभी भी हम वैसे जितनी चादर उतनी पाँव पसारो. But youngsters don't follow that, right? That's, and then, yeah. And parents, because parents are more loanable than them. And imagine the tragedy then, that you have finished your mom, dad's retirement, वो पूरा corpus आपने ले लिया, इधर डाल दिया. And moreover, you have made them, you know, borrowers without any security, and 55% chances they'll fail. Imagine the amount of restaurants that came up near your house in the last 4-5 years, and how many of them are still running, right? Big challenge. So startup is very easy to start. And by the way, you like any business which is easy to enter is easier to fail. Becoming a CA is very, very difficult. So it's very difficult for a CA to fail. Easier entry is easy to fail. That's a problem. So how to mitigate risk as well, to a certain extent, help them create an asset. Another case quickly of succession planning. A business owner is a factory, and let's say that the younger daughter has been assisting him running the business for the last 5 years, and the son, has become a doctor or somewhere. Let's say he's in Apollo as an ophthalmologist or whatever. So the business owner's main asset is a factory worth 25 crores. That's a typical business case, and a house worth 5 crores. If you are a business owner, by the way, first question, how many children does this business owner have? Not a factual question, it's a psychological question. So how many children does this business owner have? No, he has 2, one son and a daughter. But how many children does this business? Sorry? Okay, that's an emotional answer. I'm talking about a psychological answer. Okay. He has a factory, a son. Yeah, there are 3 children. And likelihood, the Third child will never grow up. Who's the third child? Business. Actually, this business owner spends more time with this child than the other two. Am I right or wrong? And this child, which is called business, in the absence of processes and systems, will never grow up to become self-sustainable. Imagine what happens to, a shop owner who's retiring. What happens to a shop owner who's retiring? Let's say halwai. Halwai, big shop, you have a good sweet shop. What percentage of halwai's children want to come in their business? Because all these children have gone to fancy schools, right? वो अपने business, बाप के business पे आना चाहते हैं. So what will happen to this business? And what will happen to this halwai and this shop? For that matter, any business. Right? It'll become a boiling frog. Have you ever read or seen this boiling frog analogy? That a frog is kept in a pan and there's a थोड़ा सा नीचे हल्की गर्मी दी गई. पहले frog adjust करता है, ठंडा पानी था, कहता है comfortable हुआ. But then the water becomes too hot, and the frog has probably spent entire energy in acclimatizing to the increased temperature and thermostating. कि by the time it's too hot and the frog would die if it frog doesn't jump out, तो उसमें ताकत नहीं बचती कूदने की. This will happen with this elderly couple, and you see many elderly couple running a shop today. And आसपास के business owners गिद्ध दृष्टि से देख रहे होते हैं. Don't you think they need an asset which cannot be attached by anyone, which can help them provide a respectable and adequate annuities? We need to help them create such arrangements, and that's what. So this guy, he has three children. Now, one is business, where most of the business owners have their maximum net worth. Let's say in this case 5 crore, and remaining 5 crore is house, and let's say investments are another 5-10 crore. अगर आप ये बिजनेस ओनर होते तो आपका सबसे बड़ा एसेट दिस फैक्ट्री ये आप किसके हाथ में छोड़ के जाना चाहते? Tell me. Son who's an ophthalmologist in AIIMS, or daughter who's helping you run the business? बोलिए. Answer. Okay, let's reverse it. I think we are still a gender-biased country, and stupidly so. Let's reverse it. I could understand that. I'm so sorry. It's still there. We are stupid. We need to grow up out of this gender bias. Let's say son is helping dad run the business, and daughter is an ophthalmologist. ये मान लेते हैं. चलो. अब बताओ आप किसके हाथ में ये business छोड़ के जाना चाहते हैं? I reverse that question just to bring that out. I think we need to grow out of this gender bias. बोलो किसके हाथ में छोड़ के जाते हैं? मतलब कौन जो ऑप्थेल्मोलॉजिस्ट है उसके हाथ में, या जो बिजनेस में मदद कर रहा है उसके हाथ में? सन, बिकॉज वो बच्चा है जो इस बच्चे की देखरेख कर रहा है पिछले 10 साल से, इसी के हाथ में छोड़ के जाएंगे तो इतने साल जो मेहनत करके बिजनेस बनाया इसको सहेज पाएगा, बढ़ाएगा. करेक्ट. ऑप्थेल्मोलॉजिस्ट के हाथ में नहीं छोड़ेंगे, बट ऑप्थेल्मोलॉजिस्ट लीगली इज 50% वारिस. क्या करोगे आप उसको? इमेजिन इफ आई रन द फैक्ट्री और मैंने अपने डैड की हेल्प करी 15 साल से. आई हैव अनदर ब्रदर, राइट? वो कहता है यार 50% प्रॉफिट तो मेरा है बिकॉज 50% मालिक मैं हूं. अब पूरी मेहनत मैं करूं, 50% इसको दूं. डू यू थिंक इट विल बी टॉलरेबल टू मी? एंड देन सपोज द डैड passes away. How will these two children think about dad? Do you think dad was an intelligent person? There's a red line there. Sorry? Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, exactly. That's like, it reminds me of my wife. That, okay. So imagine, what's the solution then? How do you give equal succession to both the children? Because आपका तो 70% उस business में पैसा पड़ा है, 70-80%. Correct me. Is this the right scenario with most of the business families? Right? And how do you give equal succession? And then, this child who's also an owner but has become a doctor will legally ask for 50% of the profits. Can this be denied by courts? So is this a genuine case study? Do you think it happens commonly? What do you do? And it's not an easy solution, but Yeah, ratios will, but again, imagine I am working in this factory. मैं डैड का 15 साल मदद किया, अभी फैक्ट्री मैं पूरा चला रहा हूँ. विल में रेशियो होगा कि 50% फैक्ट्री का प्रॉफिट दूसरे को जाए. नो तो अच्छा, अब सपोज फादर हैज गिवन मी 90% और 70%, बोले फैक्ट्री पूरी तुम्हारी, उसको जमीन जायदाद दे देता हूँ. उसको मिला 30 करोड़, मुझे मिला 200 करोड़ का फैक्ट्री. डू यू थिंक एज अ फादर यू आर फेयर? राइट? सोचो, मतलब it's not easy solution, but there is a solution. What can be given, what can be done is, for that doctor, from business profits, money can be put aside every year, particularly in a life insurance solution, because life insurance as is a solution which is created first and paid for later. Have you understood what I just said? That asset is created first. So why asset is created first? Because if this business owner dies today, this son will get 50 crores as a sum assured. So asset is created first and paid for later. In every other asset class, you pay first and then an asset is created. It's a self-completing financial tool. The only self-completing financial. I don't know if anybody talks about life insurance adequately in India, or in the right manner, the way it should be talked about. So this asset is created first, and you have given that asset, 50 crore worth of policy, with a beneficiary to your son. You understand? And the premiums are being paid from the profit of the factory, because this factory, which is, let's say, 80 crores, and 30 crores is other assets, right? 50 crore more has to be given to the son to give them equal succession. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking to some of the most intelligent people around. You will do understand. Therefore, an asset can be created like this in a trust which cannot be attached. And in case tomorrow even the business becomes bankrupt, in that case, this trust money can be utilized to restart this business. Like this Jain family took over their factory again from that Married Women's Property Act policy, and they get, because that was the only thing which is left. Recently, one of the big bus services in Maharashtra came under a substantial threat after COVID, because their Volvos were not running. And we helped them create a substantial amount of Married Women's Property Act trust, because this will not be attached. All their buses will be attached. Everything that they have may get attached. I'll not name the bus service naturally for the sake of confidentiality, but thankfully they were saved. But the sword of Damocles was about to fall any moment. Before IBC did not get triggered, thankfully, but they had notices for non-payment of dues by banks. Yes. This
20 years, 21 years. On what circumstances the benefit can be taken?
Oh, well, so yes, good question. The answer is in those documents, but thank you for asking. One is, of course, upon death, the money will be credited automatically into the beneficiary's account, right? And this is better than succession, because, you can't change a beneficiary without the permission of the beneficiary. So if wife is a beneficiary, you can't change it, because you are not the owner anymore, no? You've created this trust, you're not the owner. Oh. Yes. In that remote case, whoever is left will have to get a succession certificate, my dear. If this happens, because the beneficiary is not there, the trust is automatically null and void, because the purpose of trust is beneficiaries, right? So the trust automatically becomes void, and this policy monies can be claimed by the successor, whoever is the legal hire successor, right? No, legal hire of the testator, the creator, not the beneficiary. Yes, but successive beneficiaries can also be created. Like, first beneficiary is wife, and you can create a successive beneficiary that if wife is not there, the son will automatically, or daughter will automatically become beneficiary. That provision can be created proactively. Definitely. In case of maturity, yes. Now, imagine another scenario. If I may preempt your question, is like Suppose this policy is run for 5 years and suddenly businesses become bankrupt. Now, yeah, the contingency is right and they need money. There is, let's say, a value of a withdrawable value of, let's say, 5 crores lying in this policy. Who can get this money? Now, only the beneficiary with the permission of trust. Trustee can be anyone. I mean, when you create a trust like this, ideally you should be the trustee. Or in most of the policies which I have helped people buy, I help a wife to become the trustee because the best trustee is a beneficiary who can. So the management of this entire thing, and she can, with the help of 2 forms, ask for a loan against the policy. Policy will continue to run. With that loan, they can survive, restart the business, do whatever. Have I answered your question? Okay, I will answer that question through 2 slides. You see the word deemed here? Just like a deemed university, a policy taken under Married Women's Property Act is deemed to be a trust. Right? It's deemed a trust, and of course under Trust Act. Now, one. Second, an audit is required. The answer is no. The audit is not required, and that makes this trust far more manageable. Here, I'm sorry, I don't have that slide, but generally there are commonly. I'll speak it out. I forgot to put that slide, but thank you. Generally, there are 3 kinds of trusts, and there are many, but generally. So one is a family trust, which business owners will create for the benefit of the children, or children education trust, and I'm sure you have helped people create such trusts, right? This trust, audit is required every year. Such a trust can be attached. It is an attachable trust. As such a trust, you have to, at the time of creation, there are expenses, right? This is one trust. The other is charitable trust. Of course, this trust at the time of, the monies can be utilized by family comfortably. The other trust is charitable trust. Creation is a big hassle. In fact, sadly, in India, most of the charitable trusts are not really charitable. But we'll not talk about that. Sorry? It is more simpler than HUF creation. In HUF, there is a process which you have to undergo with first, take a check from your father or a relative, preferably of the same surname, correct me if I'm wrong, and then apply for second step is, of course, a deed, an HUF deed on 100 rupees stamp paper. When I did it, it was 100 rupees. Now it must have increased. I don't know. Is it still 100? HUF is 100. Then what? Stamp. Then apply for a PAN card. Then apply for a bank account, and HUF is created. So that's the process. Here, just take a policy and ask for an addendum for Married Women's Property Act. The trust is created. It's so simple, right? It's easier, right? Now, how do I?
Trust document.
This policy
It is
is
like the same way-
the
the same
policy
way.
document becomes a trust deed. In very simple words, I wish it was that, but it happens like that. It's a deemed trust. It's not really a trust, but it's deemed to be a trust. So it's that way. Sorry?
So,
It's like deemed income. Yeah.
So it's more, this is beneficial for the successor or survivors. If the businessman is using this policy as a succession plan, so can he claim the premium paid and the expenses?
Yes, it's like any normal policy. It's under
So
86.
for business, only Cayman policy is allowed as a expense.
That's 37.1, but I'm talking about
This
this one would be 80C because it is not. Yeah. So hear me out.
It is
Here,
because
here.
the business.
Hear me. Hear me out. When a business owner takes a policy under section 37.1, the premium is not going from business owner's personal account. It is going from the business account, and it's claiming these expenses as deductible business expenses, right, which is, and the beneficiary can be employees, and an employee can also be your brother or sister or you yourself, because you've been taking salary for some time. That's possible, right? Because the money is going from business, it is 37(1). But for Married Women's Property Act, you're not taking a policy for an employee. So it cannot be employer-employee. The premium is deductible under 80C. Of course, limited to 150, but nothing actually really now. And it's stupid to sell policies for life for tax saving. We have done that stupidity for years, Baba. Now I think we should sell it for real need of our clients. I don't know why we've done that for years. 80C, everybody has got that bucket full already. No, the upper limit is of course AML, KYC, and your financial and medical underwriting. That's the upper limit. Huh. Yes. All the other provisions which is applicable to any financial instrument is applicable as much here. It's just a normal policy for every other matter. Even 80C or on maturity, if the premium in a traditional policy is less than 5 lakhs. Now, the new act, it's 1010D. If it is more than 5 lakhs, there is no 1010D. If in a ULIP, which is a equity linked or market linked policy, if the premium, aggregate premium under one PAN card is below 2.5 lakhs, it is 1010D. If it is above 2.5 lakhs, it is LTCG. All that is there. Same provisions. No, no. This. Very good. Source not explained. You can't take money from a source not explained in a judicial instrument today, because at the time of premiums, correct, I have to justify that premium by virtue of AML and KYC, correct? So it cannot be from such any murky source or gray source. It has to be clear white source money, which you can say here. And thankfully, the white source is increasing. I'm sure many of your business owners' files have grown up ever since GST has come. Yeah, sorry. If in no, it doesn't happen. Later, you can't say it is anti-money laundering, but see, the point is, if you invest any money in any life insurance instrument in India, AML, KYC clearly happens. Yeah. So the only thing which can happen, and this has happened only in one case so far to the best of my knowledge in India, where the courts could prove, or government could prove through courts, that this person, before taking a policy under MWPA, wanted to siphon a substantial amount of his net worth. Exactly. तो अगर ये प्रूव हो गया कोर्ट में कि बॉस लेने से पहले you were indulged in certain malified activities, then this policy can be attached. But imagine how difficult it is to prove that. Correct? I'm not talking about gray cases here. I'm talking about genuine, honest, hardworking business owners. Everything that they have can get attached. Only this will be saved. Do you think they need a provision like this? And that's the only question here. Right? I understand. Every statute which we have in our country, if it's good, there'll be some % of people who will be misusing it, sadly. Should not be done, but they do it. So now, how big this trust can be? One example, for 3 to 4% of annual turnover, which is very, very difficult for most business owners to put aside or save or invest, but 3 to 4% of your profit, you can create a non-attachable trust and asset under a trust equal in value to either turnover or profit. Because if you take a, let's say, 30-year policy, policies, let's say, someone is 1 crore, the premium comes to around 3 lakhs. Right? So 3% of the profit set aside every year can help you create a trust equal to your annual profit. One example. What should ideally be the minimum size of this trust? Minimum. This is the least. It is a very simple thing. Least amount of assets in such a trust should be annual expenses. Let's say a business family has an annual expense for ease of calculation, 12 lakhs per year, right? And if all their assets are attached, even their house is attached, because you will agree that, a house property where you're living, if the property is valued less than 20 lakhs, cannot be attached. Anything about 20 lakhs will get attached. And imagine, do you know anyone who lives in a property or a temple items worth 1 lakh or something, right? And things like, and jewelry also now they've put a limit. Correct? Jewelry also there is a limit, I think 500 grams. Sorry? Stridhan, whichever is worn on the body of the lady and up to a certain limit. Earlier, there was no limit, right? So one of my friend who was, the regional director for Fortis Rajasthan, long back, 10 years back, he said, that big jeweler, his wife came with a hernia problem. I said, why? He said, bloody, she was wearing, kilos of jewelry and she jumped from the balcony. I said, why? Income tax rate. So Sridhan was actually deadly for that lady. Man. What Sridhan? This is safe. You don't have to jump anywhere. Okay. So this should be the least, is that annual expenses divided by bank rate. So let's say annual expenses for ease of calculation 10 lakhs, including the expense towards a rented accommodation, क्योंकि घर नहीं रहेगा. वो situation समझ के proactively helping a business owner. So let's say 10 lakh. So 10 lakh divided bank interest today is 6%. So 10 lakh divided by 6% would be about what? 2 crores? No. 1.120. 2 crores would be 12 lakhs. Yeah, 12. 2 crores would be 12 lakhs. So it's little less. So that is the amount that should be there in this trust. And this entire amount should not be saved up front. 2 crores should be the sum assured. And whatever is the premium needs to be saved. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think financial planning done one is sentient for the rest of the life? Your standard of living grows and you have to keep revising. And that's why we say that every year you can take substantial. There is no limit to number of policies which you can take for beneficiaries. There's no limit. But yes, I fully agree with you, Sanjay, that I think we need to, we need to keep increasing the corpus as per their need. Yes. And that's why without a review, any instrument is a failure. Just like health, you go for annual health check. You have to go for an annual financial health check, and we can help. All of us can. Moving, I'll have to move fast. Why employer-employee for directors? Well, let's come to employer-employee now. Shift that. Any questions about? Oh, you mean can this policy be brought out of the trust? Yes, only with the permission of beneficiary. So divorce पे क्यों wife beneficiary उसको मतलब permission देगी? So you understand the lady is safe. Correct? If you are a responsible husband, sorry? In that case also, beneficiary jointly with trustee have to apply for a revocation. And then only this policy can come out of the purview of. Oh, it's a simple thing. These people have to sign 2 documents, which LIC people can give you, right? But there has to be a signature of beneficiary. Confirmation will be sought from beneficiary again, because it's a trust, and every organization is very careful before dissolving a trust. So all that happens. It's not very difficult, but not without the permission of beneficiary. Yeah. Process is not, see, please understand, as long as we are working the right things, no process in financial instruments is difficult. Because dissolving a trust is otherwise very difficult. Here it is not that difficult. It's just about beneficiary, trustee, and the testator. 3 people will sign on the document. Testator means the husband who has created this trust, right? They need to sign a couple of papers. Sorry. In case of divorce, imagine if wife is beneficiary, she will never agree because she's the beneficiary. She's beneficiary of, and she's the only person who's entitled to receive this money because her status is beneficiary, which is far superior to that of someone who's a recipient of a will or or any succession. So beneficiary, she will never allow a policy like this to be revoked. So I should know there are 4 cases which I know where court ordered this policy to be given as alimony to the estranged. There was one very strange case in Bihar, happens in Bihar, where court says, let's bring this policy out of purview of MWPA, and the husband promises to pay the surrender value to the wife. Let the policy be stopped because it is creating a moral hazard or threat to husband's life. Because this estranged wife's brother attacked the estranged husband. ऐसा तो मतलब these cases are interesting. I'm sure you'll agree. One of the most interesting thing, even in chartered accountancy, is case law, and that's true for everything. Okay. Any other questions? I can assure you to an extent of 99.5% that this 11 pages that you have is sufficient to answer any question that you might have. And if you still have some questions, it'll be my pleasure, honor to, seriously an honor, if you ask me more questions to assist you with an answer, or you can even talk to Naina ma'am here or Vijay here. They'll be able to help you get the answers. Yes, sir. Oh, well, so very good question. Thank you for asking it. Imagine both any life insurance policy where the proposer is life insured and the proposer should be a male. Because still, that new article, whatever is I don't remember the name, LGBTQ, that article is not applicable here. It's a very old act, remember. Those days people were straight. So sorry, what was your question again? So imagine, so any policy can be where the proposer and life insured is same, can be taken under MWP policy. Sorry? Insured is the life, proposer is also the male husband, happens to be husband or father. If the wife is not there and father is there, can take a policy for the benefit of child, because child is considered to be an extension of mother as per the law statute. Therefore, Married Women's Property Act also covers the child's benefit and interest in mind. Now, why? Many people say term policy is a good idea. Imagine a business owner who's become a bankrupt, अब उसको ये घर वालों को पैसे देने के लिए मरना भी पड़ेगा. This term plan gives money only when a person dies. So ideally, this trust should be created with a residual asset, which should be in a saving element kind of a policy, which we call endowment, or even a unit-linked policy, where the investment can also happen in mutual fund style of way. Either or, ideally, that's my personal recommendation. It's not any specific, any policy. Let's say, do you know any policy of LIC? Jeevan? Okay, which is a lifetime survival benefit paying policy. That can be taken under MWPA. So the family will continue getting money till they are 100 years old. And this annuity or this survival benefit which is coming to family cannot be attached. You understand what I'm saying? So even that, any policy where the proposer and life insured is same and they happen to be either husband or father who had a wife. Now, it's possible through adoption to be a father who never had a wife. So, yeah. Okay. Normal, all those limitations of a policy document is applicable. About the policies and ideas and how to create an addendum, I will request you that you can contact Vijay or Nenaji, and they'll be able to assist you with all that. That's not a problem. Uh, Other thing which I'm talking about is, and this is something which I'm talking your subject, I'm incompetent to talk. I think the moment you see it, you understand what I'm talking about. That a director or a business owner can take family firm's profits. Sorry, हाँ sir. अरे आपको बिना देखे तो मैं अपने शहर नहीं जा पाऊंगा. बोलिए sir. No, no. It has to be a new policy. Existing policy cannot be brought under the purview of this trust. The beneficiary of the trust should exist before the trust. That is the legal angle to this. By the way, why do we have only a male proposer required? There were, and this is just historical importance I'm talking about. There were two sections in MWPA. One was Section 5, where a married woman could take a policy for the benefit of her child or children. There was a Section 5. And Section 6 is there, where a married man can take a policy under MWPA for the benefit of his child, children, or wife, and all of them put together. It can be a joint policy for all of them as beneficiaries. If one beneficiary dies, the other will continue to be beneficiaries. In 1958, when the Indian Parliament was amending the British Acts, they asked probably LIC only, then only LIC was there to say what are the acts related to insurance, and there is an act called Married Women's Property Act. Bring that to notice so that we can amend it. Because before that, only Britishers could take a policy under MWPA, or Christians could. Right? Either Britisher or Christians, and nobody else could. You understand, it was all these laws were also an instrument of conversion. I'm sorry, I'm shameless about saying that. So, by Britishers and even by the Mughals before that, these laws were created as instruments of structured conversion. Okay. So what I'm talking about is that this Section 5 was never amended. So in Section 5, only a Christian lady can take policy for the benefit of children even today. So LIC does not sell Section 5. LIC sells only Section 6, where a male happens to be a father or a husband can take a policy for the benefit of his wife and for children. Right. Thank you for your question. Good. It's just a historical importance thing. And imagine such things have happened in India and they're still continuing. Okay. I don't know why they still don't. They have amended some more acts. I don't know why they didn't amend it now. Because I think a married woman should also be made entitled to save some money for the benefit of children, non-attachable. Anyway. Okay. Any other questions on MWP, or I can quickly move to this. Here I'm talking about employer-employee from the angle of life insurance. And why? You imagine that a business owner can take profits home, business profits home, in 4 different ways. One is remuneration, and I'm not recommending this because a child should not be teaching parents. So I'm not recommending. This is about tax, so I'm not talking about it. Just saying, remuneration, when company pays this, remuneration comes under 37(1), so there's no tax. But if a director receives it and director happens to be a certain tax slab, maybe more than, I think 39% is more than 2 crores up to 5 crore, right? Including surcharge. So 39% is the net, I think, from 2 to 5 crores, and 5 crore becomes 42.71 or something, right? So this becomes 39%. That tax out goes 39%. Second is dividend. Dividend, it is from profit after tax, so it is taxable at the rate of, let's say, companies are at tax slab 22 plus surcharge 5.17, or 35% like LLP. So this is sorry, LLPs don't give dividend. So anyway, received by director is at their current slab. So total tax outgo, I'm saying approximately this much. It will be much lesser actually in calculation, but just done a mathematical sum here. Third is loan. And you know what was happening before 2013? a lot of business owners were taking loans from their firms, which they were never paying back. And 2013, a statute came that a loan has to be repaid back in the same financial year, otherwise it will be taxable in the hands of business owner. You know that better. So loan is again a stupid idea because it's a heavy tax outgo. Now let's talk about this. Director takes a policy, which is employer-employee. I'm saying type A, which I'll talk about later. At the inception, within a justifiable limit, because I'm sure you, sorry, wrong choice of words. You know more than anyone else can that Section 37(1) is the discretionary act at the discretion of assessing officer and has to be justified adequately. Correct? Is that right statement or right? No. So therefore, within that justifiable, and we'll talk about justifiable limit in a while, because how to justify that limit is something which even the tax consultants may get an idea on, is my submission. And then on maturity will be tax slabs as per their tax slab then. But you know, the tax slabs have been revised, and I think when they will get that annuity, we generally recommend that they should not go for a policy which gives them lump sum money, but something which gives them a regular annuity thereafter, so that they don't become Vijay Path Singhania. Now it's settled, but they get annuity and they have enough to pay for their rent and they maintain their standard of living post-retirement. Their tax slab will be much higher and their taxability will be very, very less. And the tax outgo will not be immediate, but at a later date. So it's not tax avoidance, it's not tax evasion, it's just tax deferment. And if the premium is within justifiable limit. Let me spend a couple of minutes with your permission on what is this justifiable limit. Now, for this justifiable limit, there's one thing which I think we must also mention, that what is the purpose of this expense in 37(1). Correct? So here the purpose is clearly, can be, one of the best purposes which I have recommended many, is to build a adequate retiral for the business owner who will pass the baton to the next generation after 25, 30, 40 years, whatever be the period. Now, what is a justifiable adequate pension? Now, as per the norm in India, the justifiable adequate pension is 50% of your last drawn remuneration. Is that correct or not? Because that's the rate at which government has been paying pension since donkey years. That's a justifiable limit. Now, this is 50% of not today's value. It's 50% of the income at the time of retirement, in which also government has been growing, but we can't justify that. That for business owner also will keep growing that at the rate of inflation. Ideally, it should be. Retirement should be inflation adjusted, and I keep recommending to LIC and other companies that you need to develop some products which can give you increasing annuity, which can beat inflation and help people maintain their standard of living. But that's still some years to go. Indian market will mature in 2 years, but Western markets have, many of them have. I wish they have the prudence of India to save the money or keep the money safe which they have saved so far, which is less, which we have better, thankfully. So adequacy. So suppose today the director is drawing, let's say 1 crore rupees. This 1 crore is today's value. We have to first calculate the future value. Let's say director plans to retire after 15 years. So this 1 crore, let's say at the rate of 5% inflation, grows to become about 3 crores annually at the year of retirement. 50% of this is justifiable, which means that pension should be 1.5 crores. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if it is 1.5 crores, what is the corpus that should be there? And this amount of saving, which is going under Section 37(1) or expense from business towards building a director's retirement, should be enough and adequate to provide pension for the rest of life at the rate of 1.5 crores. Do you think, in eyes of assessing officers, this is justifiable? Which limit is determined by the income of business owner and the profitability of business. Profitability is generally much more. Thankfully, in our Indian businesses, we are a booming and growing economy. But how much can he save for his own retirement is justified if the retirement is 50% of the last gross salary. So for this, many business owners may have to reconsider the amount of remuneration they are taking, because many of them are not taking enough remuneration. Because they know remuneration means immediate tax. And everybody is searching for an alternate way ki tax bacha ke kaise le, but there is hardly anything left now. We have become I think a more tighter system. I think zarurat bhi thi, and which is good. So therefore, this can be justification. And there is another justification which I would like to quickly share. Skip. Here. This clearly says that any amount of money saved for building this is section 37(1), which you don't have to see. I'm not talking about this, your master's homework. Here. Now, my plea here is this. For replacement of a plant or machinery, you help business owners create a sinking fund. Is that right or not? Now, my question is, which is the most valuable asset of a business? Is this plant or the business owner? If it is business owner, have you helped them create a sinking fund to replace the business owner? And that sinking fund is what we are talking about. Create a sinking fund so that he can give an honorable retirement to business. I know one Mr. Jain, and I'll talk about this. He used to live somewhere, accidentally, another Jain. But Prakash Naik is a friend of mine, lives in Malad. He shared this story with me. Mr. Jain is a successful industrialist. उनका हाथ हमेशा ऐसे रहता था. Used to live somewhere near Dadar. हाथ हमेशा ऐसे, मतलब कोई भी आया तो साल में 20-25 लाख रुपया का वो दान पुण्य हो जाएगा उनके हाथ. And then he passed the baton to his children. One child was in US, one was managing the business here. बच्चे ने कहा, पिताजी क्यों इतना फिजूल खर्ची करते? And Mr. Jain was about 67, 68. Within a year, he died. Why do you think Mr. Jain died? क्यों उनकी डेथ हुई? I believe, I would choose to believe that his purpose of life was no longer there. He was so attached to his hand being like this, and therefore adequate retirement is very important. As per OSS survey, which is Ministry of Finance and McKinsey, 97% of Indians, when they will retire, उनका हाथ ऐसे से ऐसा होगा. 97%. At least for business owners who have adequate profits today. And I asked 3 questions from business owners. Who is the signing authority decision maker today? आज कौन है? जैसे मैं, अच्छा, 25 साल बाद कौन होगा? Next question. He said, शायद बच्चे होंगे या किसी को फर्म बेची तो वो होगा. उस समय में अगर 3 करोड़ रुपया अपना रिटायरमेंट के लिए, for your golden years, living a life of dignity after retirement निकालना चाहोगे, निकाल सकोगे? How about saving that money gradually starting now? Because pension problem is not the problem of corpus or disbursement. It's a problem of accumulation phase. We have to address the accumulation today. For business owners on a tax-favored basis, we can do this. A tax. So, that's not working. I think this is my last one. Employer-employee for directors is like creating a sinking fund to accumulate corpus to fund golden years of company. Salaried directors, they should have at least 3 months salary under section 37(1). There are many concepts where life insurance can help business owners. Here is a list of some, including charitable legacy creation that Mr. Jain would have been saved. If he had enough money in an MWP kind of an asset coming regularly to him, he could have maintained his hand like this, had earned enough to save enough to fund his and his wife's golden years. Thank you. Any questions? Yes, sir. They do. They do. Actually, it's not about a policy. You know, I think in Indian financial services industry, we are hooked by a name. You know, Jeevan Umang, Jeevan Akshay, Jeevan Shah. It's not about a name, it's about diagnosis and treatment. I'll give you an idea. So it may not be a superannuation policy, a policy which is running for an entire life. And you can take money every year from that policy, can also be a superannuation policy, but it is not called a pension policy. Like, you know, we were talking about Jeevan Umang. Yeah, like Jeevan Umang is not a pension plan, but it's a whole life plan which keeps giving survival benefit year after year and death benefit at any age till 100. Now, it's not an annuity plan because every year the survival benefit that you're getting, if the premium is below 5 lakhs, it's tax free. Because otherwise, if it was an annuity plan, every year the money that people are receiving becomes taxable, which is Jeevan Shanti and Jeevan Akshay and LIC. So traditionally, it's not. So forget about the names of plans. And that's what I keep telling, you know, Vijay and Nena, that forget about the plan. Think about solution for the need of this customer. It's not the medicine which is important. It is whether it will cure the disease. Proactive. Yeah. Yes. Up to a justifiable limit under section 37(1). Yeah. Provided it is adequate. The biggest challenge is not wrong medicines, but medicines given to, you know, mature people at pediatric dose. Right. Adequacy is a big problem. I receive pensions from two of my past. My pension that I receive is 2,100 rupees per year. दो मेरा पेंशन इन ग्रेचुइटी स्कीम से पॉलिसी से पेंशन आता है. इमेजिन मेरे से कोई पूछे पेंशन, हाँ मेरी तो आती है. The problem is not whether, it's not a yes or no question. The answer, the challenge is adequacy. Seriously. Right. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And, you know, I'm really honored to be here. What do I have to say? I'll finish something by saluting Patil Sahab. Patil Sahab को मीराबाई का जो आपने कहा था उससे मुझे उसी से मिलता जुलता एक because I'm Malhotra, so born in a Punjabi family. बुल्ले शाह की काफी याद आ गई. पक्के गया गल मुकदी नहीं, गया गया गल मुकदी नहीं की बात खत्म नहीं हुई. जे रब मिलदा नाते धोते ते मिलदा डडुआ मछियां की मतलब अगर भगवान नहाने धोने से मिलता तो वो सबसे पहले डड्डू मेंढक को कहते हैं और मछली को कहते हैं, तो सबसे पहले उन्हें मिल जाता, आपको क्यों मिलता? जे रब मिलदा जंगल वेले मिलदा गौआ बच्चियां कि अगर वो जंगल में मिलता तो पहले गायों और बछड़ों को मिल जाता. राइट. जे रब मिलदा विच मसीती की मस्जिद में या मंदिर में अगर भगवान मिलता तो सबसे पहले पंडित और मौलवी को मिल जाता. आपके लिए तो बचा ही नहीं. तो वहां नहीं मिलता. आई थिंक प्रोबेबली सिर्फ सर्विस पर मिल जाता है. And I think one of the greatest services planting trees. Sir. Thank you very much for your time. It's been an honor. If you have any questions, I think I'll be here for some time, and while answering something, we can digest the answers better.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Dheeraj sir, for such an enlightening session where you have beautifully covered all the things like, MWP Act, because generally we know all these acts, but we don't know the actual uses. So it was beautifully covered, and now we are more like there's a one curiosity in mind to read the whole act and whatever it is provided to us, and also this employee-employer director relationship, that insurance things. So now we would like to put more time to understand all these things and to suggest to our clients. So that definitely helps. I would like to extend a vote of thanks on behalf of every one of us. Thank you, sir.
That was the first time in my life when a chartered accountant appreciated me. वरना हर साल डांट पड़ती है, इतना लेट डॉक्यूमेंट देता है.
Sparing his time for all of us.
थैंक यू सो मच धीरज सर. ये मीटिंग ऑर्गेनाइज करने का पर्पस ये था कि आपके क्लाइंट का एक बेनिफिट हो जाए, प्लस आप जो काम कर रहे हो ग्रेट है. बहुत मतलब डिफिकल्ट काम है, बट मैं आप सबको सल्यूट करता हूँ इस काम के लिए. आप लोग के लिए जोरदार तालियां हो जाए. मैं विजय जायसवाल, मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि आप जो काम कर रहे हो वही काम करके अगर आपकी इनकम दुगनी हो गई तो कैसा रहेगा. जो काम कर रहे हो वही काम कीजिए, बाकी आपका जो इनकम है वो मैं डबल करना हमारा पर्पज है. तो उसके लिए नैना मैम और मैं आप लोगों से 1 to 1 मिलेंगे और आपका इनकम डबल टिबल कैसे हो सकता है सेम काम करके आपको हम लोग गाइड करेंगे. ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच. डिनर रेडी है. थैंक यू. कोई सवाल है तो पूछ सकते हो.